Greetings, this is Chilly Billy Howell, somewhat coming back from the near dead. I'm out here smoking a Camacho Corojo, trying to get a little vitamin D, even though ain't a ton of sunshine. I've had little C for about a week. That's COVID. Big C's cancer. Anyway, it ain't been a fun ride, but it sure could have been worse. And I'm thankful for medicine. I'm thankful for time to rest. And I'm thankful that I now have antibodies. But anyway, it's life. So, I was reading today kind of to give you an insight into the strange mind of mine. And you might say, well, why do we want insight? Hell, I wouldn't blame you for not. It's just how I do it. I do go to ground occasionally, then I come back out. And then I'm trying to, I guess, explain maybe to myself, and I just do it publicly, why I do monologues and do them on Facebook, and then I get off of Facebook, then I put them on the Delta Bohemian website, and hopefully I'll end up segueing there. But a lot of the reason is I think I'm just trying to figure some stuff out, and it's how it works. But my brain, I go from one thing to the other, very attention deficit, not indicative of intelligence. It's just indicative of attention deficit. So I read numerous things during the day, nothing very long because my attention span sucks. But I read something today, never make a permanent decision based on a temporary emotion. I'm bad about that. I'm an addict, I'm an alcoholic, I do things like that. And even if I wasn't an addict and an alcoholic, I'd still do it because I'm a visceral dude. I'm a sensitive dude. One friend of mine's wife once said she thought I was the most sensitive man in the universe. Pissed me off. I guess I proved my point. Anyway, I was reading that today and I was thinking, yeah, I'm bad about that. Somebody will say something snarky on social media and it pisses me off. And then, I'm just like, well, I don't want to hear any snarky bullshit. And somebody said, well, then don't put it out there. Well, I'm evolving. I'll put it out there and you can kiss my ass if you don't like it. But don't do snarky with me, okay? I'm not asking for snarky feedback. Not looking for fans either. But basically also today when I thought about the temporary emotion, and then I thought about this Ryan Bingham song. He's an actor on Yellowstone and also kind of an Americana singer. And one of his lines is, and out to the back, the poet writes his song in blood. That just got hold of me. And it's very similar. I mean, I'm a poet, writer, Delta philosopher, and really atypical right-brainer without their giftings. Doesn't mean I'm a good one of any of those, but I am those. But the poet writes his song in blood. And in other words, he has to almost. Without blood and without pain, there is no poetry. And the poet has to write it in those things, but he also has to write it because it's the only way he can get it out. So I was thinking about Polonius today, Shakespeare's character in Hamlet. This above all to thine own self be true, and it must follow as the night the day. Thou cannot be false to any man. So I thought, I've got to be true to myself. And being true to myself is just doing what I do. And it's putting stuff out here like this. And I think the reason I do it is to my own self be true. I'm trying to figure myself out. And that's a yeoman's task. But I enjoy doing these. I often say I wish I'd lived in a different time. More of an era without telecommunications. I get overstimulated easy. I love being out in my kayak and walking, but I also like today's amenities. And for some reason, as a writer, a poet, a sharer of thoughts, a monologuist, if that's the term, and I always screw up the King's English. Sometimes on purpose, sometimes not on purpose. And when I do it not on purpose, sometimes I kind of like it and I continue to do it on purpose. But my friend Sparky Reardon, the dean, checked me recently. I was talking about grammaticians. He said, Billy, it's grammarian. So that's how I roll. But anyway, Polonius, to thine own self be true. And Polonius was a bit of a bloviating pontificator. I think I am too. So later he said, most humbly do I take my leave, my Lord. In other words, he's glad to get away from his old man talking all the time. So at any time you want to get away from me, please do. But to kind of show you how my brain works, so I went from all of that, one to the other, one to the other, and then I thought, then I just wrote a poem. It's not a good one, but it's just came out, typed it on my iPhone, and it's kind of how I think when I'm doing a poor man Shakespeare. To thine own self be true, then shall I then in haste bid adieu. I shall equivocate not, nor press my lot in advance of my previous banalities. In publicly splicing my life in peace and strife, can I best palliate the horror of cerise scars, cantilevered far beyond an amiable or sustainable threshold. I think like that. It makes sense to me, and it probably shouldn't make sense to anybody else. But then right from there, I went to another poem. Just typed it out right afterwards. There once was a man from the Delta whose brain oozed helter-skelter. With ebbs and flows, he shared his woes, mitigating what he felt. Now that's how my brain works. Both of those poems are saying the same thing. So if you get those poems, then you somewhat get my silly self and why I write and say what I do. But I'm not looking for fans, but I'm sure as hell not looking for some snarky son of a bitch coming over here and saying something negative. If you do, I hate the terminology, but I'll block your ass like Uncle Moses did the block with the Three Stooges. That's just how it is. Anyway, we're above ground for a while. Cheers. Have a good day. Greetings from the Mississippi Delta. And remember, it's always chill. And holler at Chilly Billy Howell for a Delta Bohemian tour.